Hey guys, Brittany Odo here, and this video today is going to be a little bit different than the videos that I normally have or at least plan to make. I think it was really important for me to talk about Black Lives Matter today, so let's cue the intro and then we will talk about it. So if you don't know me, my name is Brittany Odo. I'm a content writer and social media strategist, and I run According to Brittany, and I am really trying to figure out like the best way to talk about this. I didn't originally plan to obviously talk about this this month, but I really am focusing on influential content this month, and so I feel like especially as a Black woman, it's so important for me to talk about it. And I think that, this is a good platform to do so. So stick around if you want to hear, just my thoughts around Black Lives Matter and racial injustice and police brutality and all that stuff that affects people like me every day. So I kind of wanted to start with just my own experience as a Black woman. I have always felt like my Blackness, has been always called into question. From a very young age, I was the girl who would always say, oh my gosh, she talks white, she likes white music, things like that. That at the time I never understood the racial, like how some comments like that maybe they mean well, but is backed behind so much racism. The fact that anyone talks in a way that is just, well thought out and just speaks well to be assumed as white instead of Black, is just so wrong. And, it's something that I never understood, that, just the harm that comments like that did, even to me, without even me knowing it, because I feel like a lot of times, especially with me, I grew up with a lot of white friends, I grew around white people most of my life, and people of all races, but mostly white people, like going to school, being the only Black girl there, things like that. And I feel like, I wasn't always proud of who I was as a Black woman. I feel like a lot of times I felt like I needed to be, more like white people, or more like, not like myself. And I felt like I was shamed just for being who I am. Like I never, when you grow up as a kid, you're not thinking like I need to be Black or white. You're just being yourself, and then going into the world and, having people make assumptions on me or call my Blackness into question, it kind of made me like almost not want to be Black, or not want to like embrace that part of me. And I don't even know how much I really realized that it affected me until I started going to college, and I took courses and classes about racism and about what, being Black in America and what that means. And it really opened my eyes to so much, and I learned so much about what it meant to be Black, and that my Blackness is just as Black as anyone else. So when I think about my Blackness now, I think about just me. I'm a successful Black woman who runs her own business, has a good job. I think of myself as, it was hard for me to like identify myself in the Black community as a Black person, which is so weird to think of. But just, I think over time of people always kind of questioning me and questioning, who I was, it kind of just, I think it kind of ingrained in me. And I had to really unlearn a lot of the negative stuff, that people said to me. I had to like separate myself from that and really understand that being Black isn't a caricature. It isn't a generalization. It isn't a one type of thing. It's a broad, amazing, beautiful thing that can take shape in anything. Our culture is more than just, what is the stereotypical thing. So I think that really helped me with understanding who I am and who I want to be, and embracing the Black woman that I am. So now I want to talk about my husband, because a lot of times he is like the first thing that comes into people's mind when I talk about my own blackness, because my husband is white. He's a white man, and he is, you know, our relationship has really taught, I think, both of us about race and about the differences. You know, I learned a lot in college, but we've shared experiences together that really, like, for us, solidified a lot of things that I learned that I might not have really understood, or he might not have really understood. And I think that is really powerful, because we can understand the differences a lot of times, because, you know, me as a Black woman and he as a white man, we're totally on different sides of the spectrum. And we do see, you know, times where it feels like, you know, things aren't equal or things aren't fair. And so, you know, I'm not gonna like get into it, but, you know, we've had experiences, and I think for me, it's taught me a lot. And like I said, it's taught my husband a lot. And he, for me, is such a big support as, you know, as an ally in, you know, for me being a Black woman. And, you know, I've openly been talking about this on my social media, and, you know, outside of social media, just talking about it with my friends and family. And Brad has always made me feel very safe to talk about these things, and he always amazes me about how he is. Like, I remember when a lot of this stuff was starting up, and I just became like, was overcome with emotion, and I was just crying. And, you know, he came up to me and he's just like, how can I help? Like, what can I do? And like, it meant so much for him to say that. And then we just talked about it, and I can see like the frustration that he sees, because he sees me frustrated, and because he, you know, we think about like our future, our kids, you know, what kinds of things that they'll have to experience in life. And I can see, and I even hear him like talking to other people about it. And he is just such he's like one of the people he's like a full ally in wanting to be a part of like change, and be a part of the conversation. So I think that I made a post about, you know, if you want to really learn how to be an ally, really, like, you can use him as an example, because he listens to me. And even if it's something that he doesn't quite understand, he will listen and take my feelings into account. And I feel like that's what so much of us really need, because, you know, we feel like no one's listening. You know, that's why these things are happening. No one's listening. Everyone wants to fight. And if we just listened to each other and started to comprehend what's really going on, instead of trying to combat it as if it's not happening or it's not that serious, I feel like so many of these problems can start actually working to be fixed. So so that's that on Brad. You know, I do have a husband. He is white, but, you know, I love him, and I don't feel that our love takes away from, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, it doesn't take away from my love of myself as a Black woman. And it's, you know, it's important, especially for like people in interracial relationships, to you know, come to that common ground and understand each other. And I think that we've really done that. So that's kind of that on that. Okay, so why am I talking about this? You know, I always kind of feel like I shy away from these topics, you know, especially as a business owner, you know, going into topics that may seem political, things like that. I always feel like I shouldn't get involved. I shouldn't talk about it. But I think it's really important for me to talk about it, and really all of us to talk about it, because it's one of those things that's been so ingrained into our country. You know, our country was built on racism. So I think that it's so important to talk about it, not even just as a political issue, because it's not. It's a human issue. You know, this is something that's happening to our community, and it affects all of us. It affects every single one of us, whether you're Black, white, Asian, Hispanic. It affects all of us, and I want to see a change. I want to see things be different. I want to see things be better. So you know, and of course I want to see justice for those who have lost their lives. You know, so many people, and you know, it's hard to not picture yourself or someone that you love or know in those situations, and the outcomes being the same just because of the color of their skin. And it's really sad, and it's really hurtful, and that's why I felt like I need to talk about this. I need to, you know, at least let people understand my experience, who I am, and understand that this is an issue that, like I said, affects everyone, that makes us, that, you know, hurts us collectively. So I am going to link resources in the description of this video for where you can learn more, where you can donate. And I highly encourage you to, even if you can't donate, or even if you know, to just take the time to share it, you know, take the time to educate yourself, because what is happening in our country is very real and very scary and affecting us all. So take the time to learn, take the time, if you can, to find ways to help. And thank you for watching this video. This was like really hard for me to talk about. And even now, I don't feel like I've been able to really get into depth of how I feel, but at least, you know, scratching the surface, I feel like it's important. And, you know, if you have any questions, feel free to, you know, leave a comment, or, you know, however you can think of to get a hold of me, feel free. You can follow me on Instagram and send me a message there. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.